I'm so bad. Okay. So I am super excited. You will be soon too once you hear from Becky, but I'm super excited to have Becky on. I asked if anyone wanted to swap team calls since you guys have been really enjoying that, I feel like. And Becky said she would. So I was so happy. We met when I got to go on that retreat at Emily Wright's house and just clicked. It was like, I feel like what our group stayed up till I forget how late one night. Then we went in the dune bug, in the cars, and she was the craziest driver, but I loved every second. So, and then I got to hear her entire story of how she got started, and her husband just left his full-time job as a pastor to go on to do the business with her. So super inspiring. She is going to be sharing with us her 5 top pieces of advice for those of us doing the business, which all of us are. So yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Becky. After her, we're going to stay on a little bit longer to do some team updates and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks again for joining us, Becky.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Okay. So I'm on Eastern time. It's 11 o'clock at night, and somehow we have a raccoon in our garage. So if you hear ruckus, it's my family trying to get that out. So I left the garage door open, so they're not, my husband is not happy with me. So if he looks grumpy, that is why. He really does love me, but 11 o'clock at night with a raccoon in your garage is not the way he wanted to spend his night. So what I want to do is I want to spend some time telling you some of like my secrets. Like, a lot of times people are like, what are some things that you do that makes like, is your secret sauce? Things that you do that like has made a difference in your business. So I'm going to like dish all of my top things. And some of you guys might be disappointed when I say the first thing I'm going to talk about is sampling, because this is actually one of the things that I think most people struggle with. And I think if you're struggling to get people to classes, my guess is your sampling game could use some improvement. So if people are interested to come to a class, even beforehand, like if somebody says, hey, I'm interested in coming to a class, I always try and sample them. So I've been doing this business for 5 years and I still sample people. And so I want you to hear, like a lot of times people, think that people that are up at higher levels don't ever do the things that we're asking other people to do, but I do sample all the time. In fact, my husband just joined me, like she had said, and he sampled 2 people on his own for anxiety and depression. I actually talked to Melody and got some recommendations from her. Worked like a charm. Thank you, Melody. He walked them through the sample process. First sample didn't work. Second sample didn't work. Third sample didn't work. And third sample worked. Ended up selling him like 385 PV. So anyway, sampling does work. So I'm going to give you some of the things about sampling. And so really the purpose of sampling, I don't know what you thought the purpose of sampling is, but really the purpose of sampling is to get them to have a positive essential oil experience. So they're willing to come to a class or learn more or plug into a Zoom class or whatever. So that's really the goal. And people are always like, well, how do you find people and all that? So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But generally, I always tell people, and Elise, so I got the privilege, for those of you guys who've been in the business for a while, you probably know who Elise Shedevy is. She's actually my upline. She actually launched me. So she actually flew from the Czech Republic to my living room and did my very first classes. So I remember her telling me something, and I don't know if this is true. It's probably not. Elise pulls things out of her rear sometimes, and we just blindly trust her because she's brilliant. So she said people need 3 positive essential oil experiences in order to buy a kit. I don't know where she pulled that out, but I've just kind of lived by that. So in my mind, if I've given them a sample beforehand, they've had a positive essential oil experience, they've had 1. And then of course, in a class, I'm going to give them 2 or 3 other experiences, right? I might give them a wild orange or an on guard or, adaptive or deep blue, whatever, you do. But if people are coming to a class and they are not buying, it's because they haven't been convinced yet. And usually it starts with a sample. Okay. So I always sample beforehand if I can. Does that happen all the time? No. Okay. This is not utopian. This is not perfect business, but this is the thing that I live by. And so when I ask, when I strategically sample people, I'm strategic about it. I don't just be like, hey, you want to try peppermint? Because some people have headaches and maybe you want to use it. I always sample for felt needs. And so, obviously Facebook is a great place to look for people complaining about health concerns. Let's be honest. But if you like, I don't really know, like, I don't have that many friends on Facebook, or I don't see people saying about it. You can also just say, I've recently had some amazing success with this, and I thought of you. Or, you could just say, hey, I, recently got into selling essential oils, or I've been selling essential oils for a while. And I was just wondering if you would try a free sample for me. I'm trying to get testimonies of people about their experiences. And I know you're always open to new things. I mean, when you tell someone that, they're like, okay, sure. So a lot of times I'll do that as well, is just looking for people to sample. I'm always looking for people to sample. Another amazing strategy is look at your customers that love you. And I'm sure you all have them, and just say, hey, Melody, I know that you are loving your essential oils, and you know that I'm going to take as good of care of you as I will with anyone you refer to me. Is there anyone that you know that would be interested in trying samples for, and you can even, do like pain, sleep, or digestion. You can name some things if you want to give some ideas. Every single time, people will give you names. I mean, they just will. If you've taken care of people well, and, I even say, I'll send you a little something just for giving me a name. So, it really bothers me. And I can say this because I'm not your leader. It really bothers me when team members come and say, I have nobody else to sample, because I'll tell you, this business it's called network marketing. It's a skill. A networking is a skill. It's not, some people have it and some people don't. I don't have a big enough network. I don't know enough people. The thing with network marketing is, are you willing to learn the skill of networking? Because it truly is a skill. It's not just some people have it and some people don't. I truly believe that. So when they agree to it, I want to tell you my secret guinea pig statement, okay? And this works every single time, because then a lot of times people will say, okay, I sampled them, and then they ghost me. So here's what I say, because what's true is, like, first of all, don't overpromise. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, lavender's amazing. You're going to love it. Your kids are going to love it. Your grandma's going to love it. It's the greatest thing you've ever, and they oversell it. And then somebody tries lavender and they have a negative experience with it. And so they kind of feel like you gave them your baby and you're telling them the baby is ugly if they tell you that they don't like the sample. Okay. So take that out. Okay. We need to take that out, because you will get a lot less people ghosting you if you say this. So this is my guinea pig statement. Hey, thank you so much for being willing to try a sample for your blank. Now I'm going to start with this oil because it's the cheapest and easiest option we have. Okay. Why do I say that? First of all, when you say cheapest and easiest, they're like, oh, good. She's not going for like the top dollar one. Like, she wants to save me money. Okay. So you're building in value and building in the fact that you're trying to save them money. Okay. So now I'm going to start with this oil. So let's do lavender for sleep. Thank you so much for being willing to try the sample of lavender for your sleep. Now I'm going to start with this oil because it's the cheapest and easiest option we have. But can I ask you for just one thing? Will you be my guinea pig with the sample? I will sample you all day long. I will sample you all day long until we find a solution for your sleep, but you just have to promise me one thing, and that's that you'll give me honest feedback. Lavender works great for sleep, but it might not be the best one for your body. If you promise me to be my guinea pig and give me honest feedback, I will do my best to find the solution that works for your body. How does that sound? And I'm telling you, people will no longer ghost you when you give the sample that way. They're just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I want to be a guinea pig. I mean, everyone wants to be a guinea pig, and you're going to sample me all day long, and this is going to be free, and you're going to walk alongside of me. And I haven't slept in years. Yeah, I'll give you feedback. Because then you take away the, like, did you like the lavender? Here's my baby and it's ugly. They're no longer afraid to tell you feedback. So just last week, my husband sampled someone. And like I said, it didn't work 2 times. So if we had not used that thing after the first one, what would have happened is, and how many of you guys had this? Raise your hand if you had this. Oh, thanks for trying, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've had that happen is because I haven't said, I'm going to sample you all day long. Will you be my guinea pig? Give me honest feedback. Okay. So I'm going to say this one more time. So, hey, thank you so much for being willing to try a sample of lavender for your sleep. Now I'm going to start with this oil because it's the cheapest and easiest option we have. But can I ask you for just one thing? Will you be my guinea pig with the sample? I will sample you all day long until we find a solution for your sleep, but you just have to promise to give me honest feedback. Lavender works great for sleep, but it might not be the best one for your body. If you promise to be my guinea pig and give me honest feedback, I will do my best to find the solution that works for your body. How does that sound? And everyone is going to say, that sounds awesome. Okay. So that is one of my secrets to getting people to try samples, getting people to try sample again and again and again until we find a solution. And I have been known to sample people 5 times. Okay. Now, I always give people 1 to 2 samples. I never send like 12 samples, like, hey, I'm going to send you lavender and cedarwood and serenity, and I'm going to give you some gel caps. And like, here's the reason why I could do that, but I want as many touch points as possible. So if lavender didn't work, I'm going to then turn to serenity. If that didn't work, I might do the gel. Like, there's different things that you can do, but as many touch points as possible, because it's building rapport and helping them build trust with you. Okay. So that is some of the things that I just want to talk about with sampling. I know it's just like ground level, but hopefully just some of those things will kind of click for some of you guys. But we sample all the time, like all the time. I just sent out samples, this week for, a friend. My husband is now on his own doing like a study, sending, saying, hey, will you be part of my study? If you've never tried a study before, that's another great way of finding people to sample. And that's as simple as like putting something on your Facebook page. Hey, I'm looking for 5 to 10 people who are willing to try some all natural, essential oils for fill in the blank. Like just focus on one thing, for depression, for anxiety, for stomach issues, whatever. And then you have 10 people that you can use that guinea pig statement with, all of those kind of things. Okay, so let's move on to wellness consults. Hopefully you guys are doing these. If you're not, you need to. This is the key to your business. This is what makes this business different than other businesses, is the fact that our percentage, our retention rate is like 67%. But if you're not doing wellness consults, your retention rate is not 67%. I will just tell you that. So when you buy a kit, you need to build value with the wellness consult. Okay. Don't say, I will show you your account and how to order more oils and share with you more products that I didn't talk about. Because what do they hear you say? Like, I want you to spend more money. And this is a surefire way of never seeing them again. So if you're struggling to get people to wellness consults, it's because you're not building enough value around them. So it is your job to build the value around them. So here's my script. I always say, hey, I'm so excited for you to get started on your oil journey. And I know you made an investment in your health, so I want to invest in you. I know I want to get together. I get together with all my clients and go over all of the oils with you. I help you make roller balls. I explain how you can get your oils for the cheapest price possible. Oh, and another cool thing I do is a body scan. I have an Itovi. Some of you guys might not, but I also mentioned that. And I also put a 3-month protocol together. It is so cool. Do you have any time on? And then I give them 3 days. Like I always assume they're going to get together with me. I'm never like, does that sound like something you'd want to do? Like, I never do that. I'm always like, hey, this is what happens next. And this is what's going to happen. And so, I'm not going to go over a wellness consult with you. But, and then the day before the wellness consult, I text them and say, I'm so excited to invest some time into helping you with your oils tomorrow. And I have a little gift for you. That way they don't cancel. People never cancel when there's gifts on the table. It's just a little proven fact there. So I always make up, like, I love to just make up like a little packet with like a breathe drop, an on guard drop, maybe a deep blue rub, a shampoo, a conditioner, just little things that doTERRA has to offer. And I always usually put a couple of roller balls in there that are empty, so you can show them how to. It's amazing how many people just are afraid to even make a roller ball when they first get their oils. So, sitting down with them, is ideal. Now, if you're building online and this is not, you're not connecting one-on-one, you can still go ahead and send, that stuff ahead of time and do it, on a Zoom call or something like that. But people, a lot of times when you're walking alongside of somebody with health issues, especially deep health issues, they've been, a 15-minute appointment with their doctor for years. So the fact that you're going to spend an hour with them, and pouring into them is a huge deal. And so you need to realize like how, even if, you're only a year into this and you're like, gosh, I don't feel like I know all the answers, more than the person in front of you. And the fact that you're willing to walk alongside of them, again, it's giving you another touch point. It's building rapport. After those wellness consults, people like freaking love you. And then they are interested to connect with you again. They want to plug into your wellness education. They want to plug into some of the other resources you have because you took time out for them. So I also, one of the things that I do, and this, might not be something that you do, but I'd be more than happy to share with you what I do is I create a protocol for every single person that I do a wellness consult for. So I always say, hey, I can't wait to get together with you. I want to write out a 3-month protocol for you. So remind me what your top health concerns are. Remind me what your top 3 health concerns are. So, sleep, energy, and losing weight. And so I take some time out to create based on the kids they have, a 3-month protocol for that. And here's why I do this is because, I want to be seen as a professional in this business. And so if you go to a doctor and you're going to a professional, they are going to write you a protocol, right? And so I want to be seen as a professional. So it is a little extra thing that I do. I can certainly share with you all of my files if you guys want to see, some of the things that I have. Melody can probably make them look way prettier than I can, but I can share the information with you. And I've shared that with my team to make it really easy. I've done little one pagers, and from those one page, you can say, start here, and you're building an LRP basically. But I can't tell you, like, it's such an overwhelming thing for people to get a box of oils. And so Candace, can your husband bring me a drink too? That was so sweet. She's like, kombucha, baby. So anyways, you thought I didn't notice you. Like, I can see people when I'm talking. But it really just builds value with people. And you have no idea when they get a protocol, like I'll go over to people's houses later and they have that like pinned on their refrigerator. They just feel so much more empowered when they know exactly what to do with them. So that's an extra step. It's not needed. If that overwhelms you, just toss it aside. Maybe you can pull it in later. I have just noticed the percentage of people on LRPs rise big time when I've done that. So anyways, and then this also, obviously during your wellness consult, this also gives you a chance to talk about the supplements. And this shouldn't be the first time to hear about the supplements, but it definitely gives you a chance to really go over the Lifelong Vitality and Terrazyme and PB Assist. Okay. So here's another top tip that I say. So one of the things that, how many of you guys are struggling to find business builders? My hands included. Okay. How many of you guys are struggling to find shares? Yeah, it's the hardest thing in this business. So here's what I do. The last thing I say before I leave. Oh, by the way, I'm so excited for you to get started on this journey. And I got to tell you, if you fall in love with oils the way I know you are going to, I'm going to have a conversation with you in 90 days about sharing the oils and getting your oils paid for. We call this free healthcare, and it's awesome. But don't worry, I won't talk about it now. I know you're just starting with your oils, but I can't wait to watch you fall in love with them. Simple statement as you walk out the door, as you hang up on the phone, as you stop the Zoom. But what that does is then you set something in your phone, and 90 days later, when you see they've been on LRP for 3 months, you need to have a conversation because they're expecting it. So that way you're always having people to talk to about sharing oils or building the business. And so then day 91, I call up Melody and I'm like, hey, Melody, remember the last thing I said when I left that wellness consult is if you fell in love with your oils, I was going to tell you about this business. And as awesome as doTERRA's products are, can I tell you the greatest thing they have to offer is their business? Would you let me just talk about it for 5 minutes? And it could be a heck no, but I just want to tell you about it. And everyone says yes. Everyone will listen to you. Okay. Will everyone say yes to the business? No. Will everyone say yes to share? No. But you'll get a lot of people who will give you referrals or will book a class with you. Okay. So that is another thing that has served me so well is just dropping little breadcrumbs here and there. Obviously they're going to get those breadcrumbs in, the wellness education. We talk about that at the end of my wellness education as well. Any classes that we do online, we're talking about that kind of stuff. But you just need to make sure that you keep that culture of inviting people to the business. Okay. And here's what's true. And this is just true of everyone is that you're going to go to what you feel where you're winning. Okay. So most of you guys are probably winning on maybe sharing on social media, or maybe you're winning on one-on-ones, or maybe you're winning with classes, or, maybe whatever you're going to win at. You're going to go there. And so we stop talking about the business. And I am just as guilty of this because we don't feel like we're winning. We've built, brought on one business builder in the last year. And so you feel like you're kind of failing. So you just stop talking about it because you feel like you're not winning and you feel like you're losing. And so you're going to go to where you're winning. And so some of you guys can enroll like bosses, but you've never invited someone into the business. And so one of the things that I always make sure that is part of my day or part of my business, thoughts is to always maintain the tension between finding builders and finding customers. Okay. So there's this tension, right? That's in this business. And most of us go to finding customers because that's easier. You have to maintain that tension between finding business builders and finding customers. Okay. And maybe you're not in the space where you're like, yeah, I'm going for it. I want to, hit diamond or blue diamond or presidential diamond. Or some of you guys are like, I just want to pay for my oils, and that's totally fine. Like wherever you're at. But even if you just want to pay for your oils, there is an invite culture that you have to have. And Melody is amazing. The education she provides, the freaking graphics and magazines, like I want to be on her team so I can have access to that. Okay. So, if someone comes into your community, they're going to be taken care of. They are going to be educated well. So there is no fear in that, right? Your fear is just in yourself and asking them. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you've lost that tension, because it's been a really tough year and a half, I just want to encourage you to maintain that tension between finding billers and finding customers. And if you're spending all of your time sampling, finding customers, that kind of thing, and you're never asking people to build this business, you are not going to get to where you want to go. And because you're on this phone call, bare minimum, you want to pay for your oils. And you're never going to get there unless you keep that tension. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What other things do I have? Okay. This is just some of the things that I do. So I always, when I'm doing a class, I always give a book away, like an essential life book with the home essentials kit or higher. We're making $40 off that kit. I think 40, if I'm correct. And here's the truth. If people have a resource, they use the oils. If they don't, and they're left to Pinterest or Google or whatever, they just don't. And so I've just always viewed that money as kind of money to pour back into my business. So I'm not saying for those of you guys who are just starting out, you need to pour all of your commission back in, but maybe you can just look at your commission as like, I'm going to spend a third of it on just pouring back into my business. And that could be with buying books or resourcing your people. And so I always do that, take it or leave it. But it's something that I've done ever since the beginning. I mean, Elise just told me when I first launched, I think for the first 6 months, she provided all the books for my team, which obviously, none of us can do because that's expensive, but Elise can. And so, she just taught me to be generous with that. So that's something that I already did. And then I also want to talk to you about classes, because I have noticed that, when people first start building the business, they're kind of like, hey, if you book a class, I will give you one empty roller ball, and I'm just like, hey, if I were to say to you, I will give you 5 people who will host a class that will have 5 people in them, how much is that worth to you?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'd be like, I'll give you at least probably $150 for that because I can't get 25 people in a room right now. I've been doing this business for a while. My warm market isn't warm anymore, right? So I just want to encourage you to offer value in your classes. Use your points, your LRP points that you have. Don't use them all for yourself. Use those things to be able to bless your team. So I just had a class tonight. Somebody else hosted for me. Only 3 showed up. Of course, I'm like, 6 people. She's like, 6 people said yes. I'm like, okay, 3 people will show up. And she's like, no, all my friends will show up. I'm like, you just got to know. And I always tell people this. If they stub their toe that day, they're not coming to your class. Okay. It's just the reality. So I always make sure to set up my hosts well for that. And I want to set you up well too. So for those of you guys who are having classes and you get so excited, maybe you're newer to this business and you have a class coming up and you have 7 signed up, just mentally say 3 people, 4 people are going to show up. And then you're not disappointed. It's just the nature of people. But I will tell you, if they said yes to come, they will come eventually, even if they cancel. I've never had somebody that has not come to a class eventually. So anyways, 3 came. I didn't sample them beforehand because it was, a last minute class and it was, a friend throwing it together. But I ended up booking 2 classes from the 3 people. And the 3rd girl said she would do one in October for me. So I don't count her because I said they had to book it in 30 days, but I will follow up with them. So basically I had 2 out of 3 that said yes, that they would book a class.
So what'd you offer them?
What?
What'd you offer them? Because that's
yeah.
great.
So let me tell you what I did. So I took this from another leader named Bailey, who is a rock star. And she does a little thing on how to book classes or how to be a ninja booking classes or something. So basically what I do is before I talk about the kits and after I've done all the presentation, I have them fill out a little drawing card and I have them write down their name and their phone number. And then they have 3 questions. The first question is, are you interested in essential oils? So here's what I'll say. I'm going to pass out this drawing slip. So you have a really good chance because there's only 3 people in the room. So a 33% chance of winning, I'll make a joke. And then I say, so the first question is, are you interested in essential oils? So you can go ahead and just click yes, because you're here. The second one is if you'd be interested in hosting. And a lot of people love to host because you were probably sitting here thinking about, oh man, I wish my best friend were here because she really needs to hear that. So all you need to provide is a couch and water and 4 to 5 people. And I do everything. I bring the brownies, I bring the, apples, I bring the whole experience to you. And it's a great way of getting some fun, free stuff. And if you book tonight, I will give you a free keychain with all the oils that we talked about tonight. So, I do a sample of peppermint and copaiba and adaptive and lemon. We'll just fill it up with whatever. And so, so tonight I said that they all fill it out. And then I say, and so I'm going to give the first one to Deb. So I give Deb, I gave Deb because she decided to book after the class last time. So I gave her the keychain. And then I have, actually, it's right here. I'll grab it. Okay. So I bring a big bag of random things and I pull it out one at a time and people see all this stuff. So I have like a little supplement case. I've got the On Guard drops. I've got the mouthwash, the foaming hand wash with the dispenser. I have a little wooden doTERRA box. I have just some empty glass water bottles, a 4-pack of rainbow things, a shampoo, a conditioner, some breathe drops, 3 of the lip balms, toothpaste, Correct-X. I always get things that they're not going to buy. I never give them oils. Okay. And so I'm pulling all this stuff out of the bag and everyone's like, ooh, ah. And I'm like, okay, Deb, what would you like to pick? You had 3 people here, so I'm going to give you 2 gifts. And she's looking through them and people are like, oh, you should get that one. Oh, I already have rollerballs. I don't need those. Oh, well, and so everyone's getting into trying to give Deb advice of what she should choose. And so it's really easy because it's a very fun experience. And they're just like, oh, I want to do that. And so you get people to book a class. So that's what I do. This is what I use all my LRP points on, is just little things like that. You can pick up, I think I got a 6-pack of glass water bottles from Amazon. I think they were like $2 each. I mean, they were really inexpensive. Wool dryer balls, I'll do that sometimes, but I just look around I literally just looked around what I had around my house today. And I always, make a bag and I bring that together. So then if they book the class that night and they pick a date, so I print out a calendar, any date that is available, if they book a class, I will let them take that keychain home. Is there a chance that they're going to cancel on you and you're going to lose the keychain? Potentially. Okay. A keychain probably is going to cost me $5 to $10, with the oils in them. I just don't freak about it. And then that's how I book classes off of classes. So that's how I do it. It works really well. So Deb tonight, she picked out the Correct-X and the toothpaste. So that's what she got. And she was super duper excited about it. And she asked if she could host again because all the other 3 people didn't come. And I'm like, absolutely, you can host again. So that's how I do that. So make sure you always have a printed calendar. I try and not book out classes. Like I try and make them do it like in the next 30 days. If they say, well, I can do it after, my daughter's getting married, I can't do it in September. No problem. I'll just bring the little case with me to the class, because I'm just like, if you're not going to commit in 30 days, I don't know that you're actually going to commit, because once people lose the excitement of it, they might not. So that's how I do it.
Have you ever done that online? So when you're doing an online class and you pull out the freebies, they pick it. Have you converted that to online or no?
Yes, I have done that. And I just do like a PowerPoint that's like boom, 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 boom. And it's just like all these things like just pop up. Okay. And then it has a list of everything at the end. And then I'll say, okay, Melody, you were the host tonight. You get to pick which ones.
Oh, perfect.
And then I'll say, okay, if it were you, what would you pick? And then everyone says something and then they'll do it that way.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Another little thing I always say, and this is why I do sell natural solutions. I always say, if it were me and I could wave a magic money wand in this room, I would put everyone in the natural solutions kit. And here's why. And so, if I'm waving a magic money wand, of course I'm going to put everyone in that kit, right? So I tell them why I think everyone needs to be on the Lifelong Vitality. I think everybody needs to have these non-toxic On Guard products in their home. I think everyone needs to start with these top 15 oils. So if I could wave a magic money wand in this room, that's where I would put everyone. And I just give my opinion. Okay. So a lot of times I end up selling Natural Solutions Kit because that's what I say. So it's kind of a fun little, again, I'm trying to think of things that are like the top things that work for me and to give you that. Okay. Okay. The last two things. I know this was like more than 5 things, and I'm sorry. I'm not good at directions. I'm not good at directions, Melody. Okay. So when you're asking someone, so after that 90 days, you call them up and you're like, hey, are you interested in learning to share? I just want to open that door for you. And so, I always do this. We do a lot of like psychology on my team, probably because I was a psychology major. So we do this thing called push pull. And so what push pull is, you're pulling them towards you, right? You're like, hey, come join me. You'd be amazing. You love the oils. And then you push them away. Okay. So I always say like, hey, if you get off the phone and you don't think about this again, or like, this is probably not for you, or I know you're super busy and I know that you're, in charge of PTO and you've got a big job and all that kind of stuff. So, the timing might not even be right for you. But if you find yourself on doTERRA's website or you can't stop thinking about it, maybe your life is aligning with mine for such a time as this. And I just leave it at that. And that people like, people always say, well, do you send them a compensation video? Do you send them, what your work hour looks like? I don't send anything. I literally just open the door and say, hey, do you want to walk through? If you're interested, I'd love to hop on a phone call. And then that's when you can talk a little bit more. But in that initial conversation, I never answer anything. The only question I'll ask, because their husband is going to ask, is how much does it cost? And so I'll say, you have to do a 100 PV order, and I'll explain what that means. But I never answer questions. Like, those are great questions, but it's just it's a moot point to answer all those questions if there's not an interest. Like, I've spent like hours on the phone talking about every nitty gritty detail, and they come back and they're like, yeah, I'm not interested. It's like, don't waste your time. Just open the door, see if they want to walk in. If they want to walk in, you can have a, second, third conversation with it. So that's what I say. So I pull them back and I tell them all the reasons why I think they would be amazing at this business. And then I push them back, I push them away, because the reason why we do this psychology wise, if you push someone away, they naturally draw towards you. Like, it's just, well, I mean, I'm busy, but not that busy, it's just weird psychology. Okay. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is not to give away your power. And I see people do this all the freaking time. Hey, they give them a sample. Hey, let me know what you thought. They ask them like to build a business. Hey, let me know if you're interested. You invite them to a class. Hey, just let me know if you want to come. That is giving away your power. Okay. Never, ever give away your power. Okay. So you sample them, you say, hey, I am going to call you. I am going to text message you. I am going to DM you on Friday to see if you had a chance to use that sample. Hey, if you find yourself on the doTERRA website, maybe your life is aligning with mine for such a time as this, but I'm going to give you a few days to think about it, and I will call you on Friday. Okay. Hey, I know you didn't respond to coming to a class. I just wanted to make sure that you're interested, because if you're interested, I'll continue to invite you, but I don't, want to keep bothering you if you're not interested. So the ball is always in my court. The ball is never, ever, ever in a customer or ever in a future customer's court. You never want to give away your power in the business. The minute you say, call me after you used it, you've given away your power, because then you're thinking, oh crap, did they use it? Did they not? They must have hated it. They probably hate me. Like, they don't want to do this with me. And you start like, it's amazing the crazy things that you go to when you give away your power. Like, they didn't like me. They don't want to ever do business with me. They probably think I'm stupid. Like, because you've lost the power, your brain goes like to crazy places. But when okay, I don't need to think about it because I'm not calling Melody back until Friday. And then on Friday, you're good on your word and you call and say, hey, fill in the blank. But I just see so many people do that all the time. I just caught one of my front lines doing this. She CC'd me on an intro to build video that she sent someone, and she's like, "Let me know when you watch it." And I was like, "Have I taught you nothing, my friend? Like, what is going on?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, my brain is in other places, whatever." But I always call that out in my members, is in my team, because the minute you lose your power, you're just not moving forward in your business. So I will stick around if you have any questions. But if not, thank you for having me. I hope that was helpful. I tried to bring my best and my biggest, and hopefully maybe one of those tips will be helpful. So
I love that. Yeah, I'll connect with you and get that script at the beginning. I think that would be a great one. And then a couple of those documents that you said. And I think that was awesome. But I always know that people always like, okay, what was that script again? So I think
yes,
that's great. So thank you so much for sharing all of that, Becky, especially for staying so late at night. I appreciate that.
no problem. Yeah, I'll get all that information to you tomorrow, and then you could go ahead and pass it on to your team.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again. Can't wait to chat with your
Bye,
team.
guys.
Bye. Well, I am super glad she was able to join in. Hopefully you guys got some good tips. I know I learned some stuff for sure. I know we have about 20 minutes or so. I'll keep it quick and short, but we are getting so excited. Conventions next week. I just can't wait till they announce all the products. I'm like dying inside. So been waiting for this for quite a while. Excited to hear all that's to come. We have a couple fun things coming up. We are going to send out, so first off, I'm talking too much. So let me send one thing. So this Thursday, I have the graphics finished. So I'll send them over via Voxer tonight and then add them to the Facebook group. But I'm going to be doing, which a couple other leaders in doTERRA have done before. I'm just sending this to my computer so I can show you guys. Is to get people excited to learn about this new, all that we're doing this next season. We are going to be doing $1,000 giveaway this Thursday. And I know like some